Hello, my name is Nicholas Dickey, and this is part 3 of our From Zero to Full-Blown SaaS ChatGPT Application tutorial series. In part 1, we created the front-end widget for our MCP server, OpenAI MCP server, the widget that uses SkyBridge technology. We tested it in isolation with hard-coded data. In part 1, we created the backend MCP server that integrates with the database that saves. And by the way, we got to say, we are creating a chat vault app for ChatGPT, allowing the end user and ChatGPT agent to save chats, to search for chats using vector search, and to browse chats like we browse browser history using the widget. So part 1 was the widget, part 2 was the backend, and here in part 3 we will do the combination of part 1 and part 2 into a single MCP server that also includes the business operations layer, the SaaS operations, basically the SaaS portal for the creator, but also the user sign up, user sign in, subscriptions management, etc. Before we start doing the exciting stuff, as usual, we need to do some foundational work. And today it involves some of the changes that happened yesterday to ChatGPT. They're preparing to go live, I presume, with their applications, new applications that were announced on October 6th, what we're developing right now, the OpenAI MCP apps. So they're making changes, and they changed the requirements to what is returned by the MCP server when providing the response to the resources read call. We need now to pass some new stuff, and so we will append what we did with part 1 with a little bit of extra meta information. We also need to expose both servers for part 1 and part 2 simultaneously, in parallel, through ngrok to the internet. So let's start in no particular order. Let's first of all make sure that we can share both servers at the same time. So I will tell the agent, please modify, what the hell is going on? Problem with my keyboard? Something is wrong here. Please. Some key got stuck. So let's be it. Please modify part 1 MCP server start. Oh, part 2. Let's keep part. So basically, we developed those servers in isolation. So we need now to run them in parallel. And they're both using the same port. They're governed by the variable port, all capitals, which is the same. So we need starts on port 8001 instead of 8000, so that the widget will run on 8000, but the backend server will run on 8001. Modify to use port, I don't know, backend var instead of port. I'm being very specific just to save time, because you can go and go, back and forth with it a little while before you develop this. Or port and the default of 8001. We will run both servers in parallel in separate terminals. As explicit as I can be. I didn't prepare any prompts today. This is all just busy work, as my old boss used to say. and it decided to go and update documentation like I asked it. So what I'm looking for instead is this. So it basically said port will be governed by this environment variable, otherwise it'll be 8001. So we'll have no problems going to production. Looks good. Second part of that is create a minimal ngrok, and I looked up ngrok before starting this tutorial. So there is basically your auth token, and we need to set up this using this ngrok auth token environment variable, exporting it, and then it will create minimal config to expose both ports in the same session. We have a free account, so we need it only supports one session at a time, but it can have multiple ports, up to 4 ports, I believe. In the same session, I will export ngrok auth token var so that it doesn't have to worry about that, and provide a command to run this config. So I expect it to create ngrok YAML here. Looks good, as simple as possible, nothing extra. Pretty straightforward. So what's the command to execute it? I don't know, I don't see a specific. Let's give me a command to run ngrok with this config. Let's start the terminal. So I need to export ngrok tunnel, and then I started here. So we will go and I will copy this. I will actually copy the real auth token, but I will pause the video so that I do not jeopardize my ngrok account. Hold on. So I copied the real auth token, and now we will go back to this, and I will export it, but I will again pause the video. Okay, so now I ran export ngrok auth token, and now I can start ngrok in the same terminal. What did I do? Config. Pretty sure it should be config. Let's try this guy. Okay, and it works. It gave us two different URLs, one to use with port 8000 and one with 8001. So 8001 is our backend. Let's actually open the tab so that we have this URL handy. So the first one is the backend, and the second one is the widget. Wait, it doesn't work. Okay, so we now have both saved. Okay, and we can start the servers separate terminals. Before starting widget server, let's do this upgrade that I was talking about. Basically, it is all doing the wrong thing. So, okay. Forget the so here, if we go to OpenAI, you can find that now they specify that we need to provide more data in our meta where for resources. Let's copy this. Resources read. Next, OpenAI changed the required return for resources read function to include this. We need to specify only Findexar.com because this is the domain that we'll be using because we are putting it on Findexar platform. But if you have your own like CDN for your own images that will be used from inside the widget, you need to list them all here. Um, here is where our widget MCP is defined. So we go to here, we have the MCP server, and this is the server that we're using, right? Just to point it in the right direction, it would have found it. But so just um, did I say that it's for resources read? Yeah. Okay. Propose the change first. I want to be able to review it. Although we're running, we have everything in our chat vault, in our GitHub repository, so we can roll back. We are doing it the right way. So if it messes up, we can go back. Specific changes update the result object in handle. So it returns the current meta, plus it adds Findexar.com, everything from this looks good, looks great. So let's say proceed. So let it change that server. Another thing I want to do is to save us time. Yep, that's what it is. And while we're doing this, make sure that none of the test data that we used when we were doing part one video is actually hard coded with a widget because it was supposed to get it from load chats function, the hard coded data, but let's make sure that it's not hard coded anywhere else. Great. While we are here, please check that no hard-coded test data is injected in the widget. Because we would have noticed whether it came from load chats or if it was just preloaded in the widget template when it was loaded, it all looked the same. So I want to make sure that we don't have any test data because right now we'll be using real load chats from the backend server that we developed yesterday. So what is it? Oh, remove the injection. So it was injected. So yeah, remove it. Proceed. Okay, so that's should be the last housekeeping item. We are at 14 minutes mark in real time. Just in case I edit this video and compress a little bit, I want to make sure that you guys know the real time it takes to do this, at least for me. So oh, okay, so it was hard coding stuff. Okay, fine. And we're done here. So we have the ngrok running in this terminal. So in this terminal, we will go to chat part1 MCP server and start it. Should be running on port 8000. And in another terminal, we will go to chat part 2, and because the whole part 2 is MCP server, there's nothing else. So we started right in the root directory. It should be 8001. Yep. So we have now both ports exposed to ngrok, both servers, more importantly, and we're done for now with any sort of wipe engineering. In software engineering, it's called context engineering, but when I take it out and into the world of wipe coding, I brand it wipe engineering. Anyway, just so that you know that it's part of software engineering, but software engineering is a lot more. From now, we're focusing on Findexar platform. Findexar was created specifically for this purpose, to take a ChatGPT app and turn it into a full-blown SaaS with user management, subscription plans, security, login, user sign up, user sign in, um, dashboards, whatever, all kinds of cool stuff. You'll need to create a free trial account on Findexar, like I did already, sign it up for it, and then you need to create an organization. I already did. It's very simple. You just give it a name and a slug that it'll use. So you see here, it's called STOG, which stands for SaaS Test Organization, very creatively. What Findexar can give us is the first of all, I'm on a free account right now. This is defined here. My subscription actually ran out of it, and I'm in a grace period today. So it can run for another 48 hours for my end users to do stuff. It allows me to define the subscription plans for my end users. It allows me to connect my Stripe account, which is great because this is what's called bring your own Stripe. This allows me to work with my Stripe as a creator, have all my users inside my Stripe account. I can even take them elsewhere in the future. This is very different from, let's say, what Apple Store or ChatGPT App Store does. Um, this is pretty cool. So it allows us also to wire, to create the downstream connectors that connect to your downstream MCP servers, like we have backend and the widget, and to create the upstream connectors that exposes all our functionality to ChatGPT. So let's start with uh, creating, oh, we're in production. So first of all, um, let's go to and create the new sandbox deployment. It's like in Stripe, test deployment. So let's say tutorial part 3 deployment, right? So everything will be fresh there. Nothing exists. New everything. Um, so this is fresh environment. Nothing is touched here. We need, so we will start by wiring the downstream connectors to our MCP servers. The first will be the, let's say, backend, uh, and we don't use API key for now, but we might in the future just to protect us our mm, our downstream MCP servers. Um, but for now, we just this is something we will do in next part 4. We will secure our environment and prepare it for actual production. And now we have we saved those MCP endpoints for backend. Just need to remember to add MCP at the end. We can import the schema and verify that it's actually backend. Yeah, so this is save chat, load chats, and search chats function that we developed in part 2, the real ones. And one thing to note here is that Findexar allows us to tag the parameters is one of those things, either username, user email, user ID, or a subscription plan, so that you, those will be injected in real time by Findexar. This is a user ID. So a real user ID will be injected by Findexar because ChatGPT has no idea what a user ID is, and it will not actually be even exposed to ChatGPT as part of the schema. So the same is true for all the other user IDs here. This is internal between our servers and Findexar. We can also insert like email, obviously, but also subscription plan so that we can differentiate the level of service. And that's it. We create a backend MCP server connector and another one for the widget. Same thing, no API key for now. And it's now this MCP endpoint. Let's see that it actually ports the right schema. So it has our widget tool call, and then there are those hard-coded data load chats and those dummy functions. We don't need either of them. So we can just uncheck so that we do not even confuse the upstream connector with those functions. We don't need them. We only need now the browse save chats widget, and it will be getting data from load chats from the backend MCP server. So we're good. It has the widget, and we can create it. So we can theoretically create an upstream connector now, but it gives us warning that before we can do the upstream connector, we need to define at least the free subscription plan because that's the plan that new users will be assigned to automatically when they sign up. And you know what? While we're doing free plan, we want to do the paid plan. Why not? And to do that, we need to connect our Stripe. So let's start in that order. And because I did this before, Stripe already has my test account set up, so it'll be very fast. When you're doing it first time, probably 4 or 5 minutes. Obviously, the live real Stripe account will take, I don't know, 20 minutes, and then you will be verified. You need to scan your work photo, your, I don't know, document ID, passport, driver's license. So, but this time it was very fast because Stripe is already set up. And now we can set up the subscription plans, like I said, for our end users. So my subscription is my subscription to Findexar, but this is for our end users. So set up a free trial. Let's call it Chat Vault free trial. I don't know, what does it look and see? It's free. Let's make it fairly limited so that we can show running out of credit as the end user for 1 week. Okay. And there are also here properties so that we can sunset subscription plans and switch over for new users. Sunsetting it means showing different plans than the existing users, and switching over is switching existing users on a future date. Let's also create the paid plan, which will be Chat Vault Pro plan. I don't know, a paid Chat Vault subscription. Let's make it $3.99 a month, 400 credits, which is about 4 cents per credit. And for extra credits, we'll keep the same price so that, it's very simple. Every time you use a credit, it's basically 4 cents, but you prepay for the first 100. Sort order, let's make it one so that it's always sorted. First free trial showed, and then the paid plan to the end user, and we're good. So we have now connected the Stripe. We created subscription plans, and we have the downstream connectors. So the only thing remaining is to create and wire the upstream connector. That's the interface we're showing to ChatGPT now. One thing to note here is that yeah, we will be wiring our downstream connectors, but there is one more downstream connector that is by default added, which is called Findexar service, and it provides all the SaaS functionality. So functions like cancel subscription, manage my subscription widget. There'll be more added in the future. There'll be support related support queue, escalate stuff like that, and billing history and whatever else is required. So let's call it Chat Vault creatively. There are a couple of properties here for the signature line. Basically, when notifications, email notifications go to the end user, they go from Findexar support, but we want it to be branded with our app name and our email, support email. And we will add now our widget and our backend. So there are three downstream connectors wired. One is for SaaS, one is for the widget, and there are three tools in the third one in the backend downstream connector. And we're ready to go. And then there is still the SaaS thing from Findexar service. One thing I want to do is our template, our widget browse save chats calls the internal function load chats. It's not called explicitly outside. So every time it will bring up the template, it will call load chats. The widget costs 1 credit and this function costs 1 credit. So what we want to do is actually change that to free, so that only 1 credit is used per widget load. Yeah, you can leave it 1 and then it'll be 2 credits. You can make it 200 credits for your role. I know you will be setting up your business model. This is all is easy to do on Findexar. How much you pay downstream calls, how much you earn from the end user, that will be your business business operations layer. So we can create now the connector. Okay, so and this is the end point for our MCP server that we can use with ChatGPT. ChatGPT yesterday refreshed their UI, not just internal stuff, so it looks a little bit different. Ooh, let's reload the page. Yesterday it was changing like minute by minute. They were doing stuff. They're clearly preparing for the public release. So we can create app using our new MCP server. Let's call it tutorial chat vault app. Chat vault, just tutorial chat vault. And now we have a real authentication for our end users because of Findexar. So now I represent the end user who is registering or connecting to the application. So they would need to sign in to Findexar. I think in the future it'll be saying like chat vault on Findexar, maybe even just chat vault, depends on. And this functionality is provided by Clerk, so authentication is done by Clerk platform. It is very robust, secure, and allegedly infinitely scalable. It can handle millions, billions of users, which of course chat vault will get at least 1 million users, I presume, on ChatGPT. And I'm not kidding in terms of we're done here. Next, part 4, we will productize it, secure it, and put it, create the CI/CD process, continuous integration process on GitHub. We'll host it on Vercel, and then hopefully, if they will go live in the next few days, I will start a new video. I don't know if it'll be quick, but I will apply with chat vault. I will maybe beautify it a little bit, all the buttons replace with icons, etc. And then we will apply to the ChatGPT App Store and see if they accept. And if not, we'll see why. So I hope to create this video that goes through the whole process and hopefully to revenue. Let's see if we can earn at least $1 of this stuff. So you can see that they're now seeing our new CSP. There are no warnings. All the functions are loaded. Looks beautiful. So let's connect to it. Connect our chat to this new app. I actually used this user before, so there should be some saved chats in our vault for that user. Let's start by trying to browse saved chats. Let's see if that works. And by the way, before we proceed, let's take a look at the dashboard here. We should see this new user created. Yep. So we have now one user, very exciting, on a free trial plan. Didn't make any calls yet. So now we will allow the execution of this function, and you see I did a couple of chats, one earlier today, and one about Minnesota weather yesterday, and it just works, right? So the widget was loaded, and then the load chat, we can actually see if we go to our backend stuff, we see those calls, we see the logs. This is where the widget was returned, and this is where the backend that data, the chats, actual chats were loaded by the backend. You can trace it all. It is super. I don't know. I love this stuff, uh, especially when it just works first time. But I love debugging as well, especially with powerful tools like AI agent. We have also the debug panel here, so some of the console.log output that otherwise would be invisible, which is running inside the iframe, is visible to us here. We can see what was returned, but let's go back to the dashboard, right? So now we can see the calls that were made, right? To browse saved chats and then to load chats. Or it actually showed it in the other order because it started the call to browse saved chats and then it called load chats and then it finished. So you can see, like if you look at load chats, it took a lot of time, but you can see this timing. So it spent half a second inside upstream, which is the Findexar, and then it spent 2 seconds inside our backend server running in the development environment. We can see the request that came from ChatGPT, and we can see where the user ID was actually um, injected into the payload, and then we can see what the downstream return and what we're returning in upstream. There's actually a very detailed timing breakdown. If upstream is too slow, you can see where it's happening, especially when debugging with Findexar support. All this data is very useful. Some of the things are done synchronously, some synchronously. And I also know that next time we do this code, it will be much faster. It'll be like 30, 40 milliseconds because it caches a lot of stuff. Anyway, so we have this call, right? So we can see that the user made now one call. Oh, no, it's actually two calls. Hold on. Let's go to the usage display. It should be two calls, but one was 0 credits, right? We wanted this low chest to be free to the end user, so it used up 1 credit. Um, okay, so we used up 1 credit. That's the bottom line. Let's do some other stuff. Um, uh, what can we talk about? Uh, how is the weather on Venus? I don't know. I think that ChatGPT is dumbfounded by the turn of the conversation, but it knows the temperature on Venus. But it's not like, um, do you have today's data? Uh, okay, this is good enough, right? So please save our Venus chat in the vault. So now we talked about the weather in Minnesota. We talked about Mars, and now we did the Venus chat. I hope they speed things up on ChatGPT side. It's like pulling teeth. So now that was the second credit probably consumed. So we go here. Income should be still 000, and usage. Uh, so we have safe chat here. We can see it, right? So we did 3 calls total, but we consumed only 2 user credits. We need to do 3 more before we run out of, let's say, search. Um, um, can you search for the Mars chat in the vault? This will be the 3rd credit. And now a backend tool that does that calls OpenAI on its own, the API, to do the completions comparison, vector comparison. And it found the Mars chat. Um, um, no. Show me the Minnesota weather chat. My keyboard needs cleaning. Oh, so it didn't need to go. Actually, it already had the data. Okay. Um, show, uh, browse the chats again. Let's burn through those credits. So where are we at this point? We are still on a free plan. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. No, one. How many credits used? 1 to 3 credits used. Oh, I thought we were already using 4 credits. I think it cached something. So no, okay. So it just takes a couple of seconds because it's done synchronously the update to the usage logs. So we did 4 credits. We used 4 credits. Um, browse again, please. We are debugging this stuff or demoing. So you see we have Mars, we have Venus. So this UI may be polished a little bit, adding icons, and then go to production, go to apply to the store. So we're now at 5 credits, probably. 3, 4, 5. So just browse again. So this is the number 6 tool call, and we have 5 included in the subscription plan. You see, so it is basically hitting subscription required error, and now it explains that it wants you to call management subscription. It used to just bring it up, but it's pretty unreliable. So um, um, manage, show me my subscription. Then we told it that we're debugging, so it started giving me technical information, which the end user will not hopefully be asking for. So basically, now the end user can see that it's on a free trial plan with 5 credits. In most cases, it brings it up automatically, but sometimes ChatGPT decides to give users the options to choose. So it needs to update to the Pro plan, $3.99 a month, 100 credits. So let's go ahead and upgrade using, this is all test credit cards, test everything, the sandbox. So we will do this quickly using the magic credit card. I wish it was real. Um, yeah, I think let's keep it locally. And this should be enough to subscribe as the end user to my application. And the payment was successful. And now it's updating our widget to show that there's no more free trial and we're on a Chatbot Pro plan. Status active for another month. And we use 0 out of 100 credits. We can even cancel subscription right from this widget. I hate those hidden, very hard to cancel. I like when cancellation is right in your face and we're not trying to trick you. So if we go back here and look at the users, we have one user, it's on a paid plan. And now we should have some, well, we still didn't use any paid calls. So let's browse again. Now it gives me debug information because I told you that we're debugging. And we're about done. I just wanted to show you how the user upgrades. And then when a call happens, that if we go back here, we can see in a couple of seconds that it takes to get all that refreshed. So first of all, here we see all the calls. We can see the durations. And we can see that now we're earning some. We earned 4 cents. These are not like 4-cent transaction. This is allocated portion of the included credit. So there were 100 credits at $4. So 1 credit was used out of that. So it shows it as 4 cents earned. There was no separate charge for 4 cents. But now we're beginning to produce revenue. Isn't it something? We're 44.5 minutes into the video. So if I was on a paid plan, I will start racking up costs as well, which would be 2 cents at a low volume and at a high volume, at a high plan, it will be 1 cent per call. So I would have made 3 cents on this call, and then everything else is up to me. And this concludes this part 3. I will go and I will commit this to GitHub so that our work is saved. But see you at part 4. We'll actually productize everything, secure, create, turn our tests that we develop for part 1 and part 2 into the continuous integration tests, learn how to push into production, learn how to add features, how to maintain the app in separate feature branches of Git so that we can test them independently, and then we can do the merge using PR requests, pull requests, or PRs, pull requests. And then maybe there'll be part 5, like I said, when we actually apply to the App Store, get rejected or approved. We'll go through all that and start earning and earn the first dollar. How exciting is that? Well, thank you for watching, and I see you around. Bye.
Through endless pines the cold winds weave, where silver streams and tall birch breathe. The bison roam, the eagle soar, the twilight drums in war once roared. The waters whispered soft and wide, a guiding hand the spirits tied. No border drawn, no strangers claim, the land and sky both spoke the same. Minnesota, northern star, quiet water, that's what you are. Winter swishing on ice and snow, summer's fishing nice and slow. Through silent lakes and misty morn came paddle swift the canoe